Everything is Zen.
Welcome to Neutral Zone Infraction / that mediocre sports show. This is Randy, and I'm Blue. I was doing a Home Depot event, so I might look a little dirty today. I played drums all day, and I got some sun, and, well, Randy doesn't go outside.
I refuse. It's like I have a tunnel that goes... I have a tunnel that goes right to work so that I don't ever have to see it.
So I have little sun, so I won't show everything. But I had a great time.
It's going to get demonetized. Oh, that's right. We don't get monetized.
Yeah, we don't get. I had a great time. It was a fun day. We jammed, me and Weaver, blah, 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 blah. It was great. I was, as the title says, I was mediocre.
Yes.
Brad was great. Brad covers up a lot of my mess-ups. Okay, well, today's topic, and I know what you're all thinking, I forgot. I didn't.
I know what you're thinking, I forgot. Yes.
Today, I think the topic is what is it, maybe top 5, 6 mediocre NFL head coaches of all time.
That's right. This is the best of the best of the mediocre.
No, I'm going to take that back. Of mostly the modern day era, because the last 30 years. Because, there's guys like Sam Ratigliano. There's all kinds of guys that you don't even know.
All kinds of guys. Sam Ratigliano.
How about the guy that was the Broncos, and he was like, you can see it on YouTube.
Wade Phillips?
No,
would
it's
Wade
this
Phillips
guy, and
be
he goes,
on this list? He was a great mediocre coach.
He was, but he does this pep talk where he goes, okay, guys, we're going to go out there, and we're going to catch on fire. And we're just going to play like we're on fire. And then in the second quarter, we're going to go out there, and we're going to catch fire. And I mean, he literally, I don't know who it was, Ralston or somebody. It was terrible. It's the worst pep talk in all time. I would have fallen on my football.
Because it's on fire.
And ended it. I mean, it was terrible. But anyway, there's a lot of coaches we could go into. That guy was bad, I think.
But
I think
everybody probably, if you're thinking mediocre head coaches, I'm thinking the first name that's going to come to mind. We're going to talk about this person first.
Not terrible. Not
worse. Not terrible.
That's the thing. I was kind of naming off some really crappy coaches, and Randy goes, that's a crappy coach. That's not a mediocre
coach.
That's
not a mediocre. That's a bad coach. That's a bad coach. That's a bad coach. Rich Kotite, that's a bad coach. That's not a... Wayne Fontes, bad coach.
Really?
Yes, Wayne Fontes was a bad coach.
You know what? No. I think Wayne Fontes is mediocre.
No, wait, no. He's not on this list, so he's bad. And he coached Detroit.
And he coached for like 20 years.
Wayne Fontes? I think you might be misthinking. You might be thinking of somebody else.
How dare you accuse me of thinking?
Yeah, that's true. I should stop doing that. But the first guy we're going to talk about is Jeff Fisher. That's right, Jeff Fisher. I still don't know how this guy kept his job so long anywhere. He does have one Super Bowl appearance.
It's like me at Home Depot.
Yeah. A lot of people think the same thing about him. Yes, I get it. But he coached for 22 seasons. 22 seasons. His record is 173, 165, and 1. He wins 51% of his games, and he coached for 22 years.
I'm here to tell you that I think if you gave me a great team, I could get a 51% winning percentage. Yeah. And the only thing I know about X's and O's is tic-tac-toe. But I'm here to tell you, I'd have had people who knew stuff. And we'd have had... I mean, that ticks me off. I hate it when somebody does something that I literally could have done. And been just as unsuccessful as they were.
Yeah, I mean... But what drives me nuts is that we'll see coaches, they'll get fired for having an... Mike Shanahan was fired after an 8-8 season. He was fired after like 3 straight 8-8 seasons or something, where he kept losing a lot at the end of the season. He
he would get our hopes up. We would get like 6-0, and then
and then they would get dashed on the that one season where we lost. Like all we had to do was win one of the last 4, and I think we lost all 4. And I think that was like the death knell.
That was
like,
that
come on.
Today's Pat Bowlen probably wouldn't have been.
No, he wouldn't have cared. But that Pat Bowlen did care.
He did care,
and he loved Shanahan.
That was messed up.
But so Jeff Fisher kept his job over and over. We would see other coaches, they barely get a chance, and Jeff Fisher is still winning only 7 or 8 games every year, and he's not contending for Super Bowls. He's been to one, and he lost it. Close loss.
By a yard.
But he lost.
Well, no, that's my point. If you're going to lose it by a yard, a real good coach would have won.
A real good, It's like even a good coach, but remember, he's mediocre.
He is. And the thing that gets me, he was on the competition committee, and I think... he did a lot of driving for owners, maybe in the car, maybe as a chauffeur or something.
Yeah, he might have. You might have been a great chauffeur.
He was on 2 teams, and as far as I'm concerned, the sad part is the Titans. I mean,
thing is, I think he was a mediocre football player too for the Steelers.
No, I think wasn't he a Bear?
I thought he was a Steeler.
I think he was a Chicago Bear. He might have been on one of those teams that Ditka had that was really good.
I'm thinking it was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, we can always Google it. You know I'm right.
We can't always Google it. I mean, that's true. We could Google it. I looked at somewhat of it, and then I left it. But let's go on to the next one while I look this up. We're going to go on to the next. Norv Turner. Norv Turner. One of the greatest offensive minds.
Yeah.
He is a great offensive mind.
He really is. But, okay, you know what? I don't even know if he's... I'm going to argue with that. You know why?
He was a Bear.
Thank you. Randy just said I was right. That's Randy's way of saying I was right.
That's my way of saying he was.
I don't even.
Yeah, he was a bear. There you go.
I am Google. I mean, I really am.
You are not Google. You are Guggle. You are the budget version of Google.
Bing.
when somebody types in the wrong thing, they put in like 3 O's for Google, and they come up.
But I get a lot of stuff right.
It's a search engine that it finds 3 things on the internet.
All, back to Norv Turner. Was he a great offensive mind? Randy says yes. I am thinking maybe not, and I say that because the Great Wall of Dallas. Emmitt Smith, who I don't think was all that great, but he was okay.
He was okay.
Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Charles Haley on defense. They had a great team. I could have called plays for that team. I don't think he's a great offensive mind.
But the thing is, they wouldn't have had time to watch you draw every play in the dirt.
And I'm going to not even answer that. I'm going to go on to something else about him. I don't even know if he should be on the mediocre list. I think he should be on the suck list.
Well, but his record, he was 114, 122, and 1. So he won 48% of his games. It's almost 50%. That's mediocre.
Half is mediocre.
Half is mediocre. Roughly half is mediocre. If you do something, yes, because if you lose a ton of games, you are bad. If you win a ton of games, you are great. Except if you lose a ton of playoff games. See, like George Karl in the NBA. George Karl in the NBA would have been a mediocre coach because in the regular season, he's a coach. Yes, he would have been a mediocre coach in the NBA because in the regular season, he did really, really well.
Yes.
But in the playoffs, the Nuggets would always lose. Because remember, the one time the 8th seed beat them? No, but that was under Bernie Bickerstaff.
Was it?
Yep, Bernie Bickerstaff was the coach of that team.
I thought the Seattle Supersonics...
No, because Dikembe Mutombo was on that team, and Bickerstaff lost us Mutombo.
Randy was right on this one. There you go. See how easily I agree? I don't make him look it up.
Well, you don't have to because I know I'm right because I loathe Bickerstaff because Dikembe Mutombo was worth something, and they just let him go. He could have did a sign and trade and gotten something from Mutombo, but instead he just decided to let him go into free agency and see if he could negotiate. Yeah, Atlanta out-negotiated Bickerstaff. The Atlanta Hawks.
First of all, you're on.
They had John Concact.
You're on to basketball, and I don't even.
I know, but Norv Turner's there. He's just not very interesting. That's what makes him so mediocre.
He is, and he sucks. Who's next?
Mike Ditka.
Okay, now I gotta say something here because there's a lot of people out there that are gonna hate this.
Oh, they're gonna hate this one so much. There's gonna be so much anger.
All 2 or 3 people that watch this.
Yes, you're gonna be so mad.
And the reason I said Mike Ditka, Randy didn't say it, I did. So, and I said it because I was thinking, and I don't do that very often, but I was thinking, 84, great team.
Yep.
85, we obviously know what happened. 86 still had a great team. 87, Walter was still there. That was a really good team. If you look, most of the players are still there.
All they really lost, I think, was at one point was Wilbur Marshall and Willie Galt, maybe.
They should have been to more Super Bowls.
Now, they point to the injuries to McMahon as ways that they were ending up losing. And then there was the one that said...
They played Flutie way too long in one of those.
And they had, I think, Tomczak was actually playing pretty good, but Ditka wanted Flutie. That's a mistake by Ditka putting in Flutie when Tomczak was actually doing pretty good.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking that...
I still remember Richard Dent called him the midget. Richard Dent did. Not me.
Not me. Richard Dent.
Richard Dent. Go take it up with Richard Dent.
Take it up with him. And Richard Dent was a great player. That team has how many Hall of Famers?
Oh, you got Singletary. You got Peyton. You got Dent. You got, I mean, it's like...
Is Hampton?
I don't know if Dan
I think Hampton is.
He might be.
And they had a good offensive line. They had Matt Suey. That right there, the name.
Oh,
Suey.
even
It was
it's
awesome.
like the offensive lineman that played with Dan Marino at the University of Pitt was real good. I don't know if he made the Hall of Fame, but he was real good.
And they had Hildenberg. They had Covert. They had
Jim Covert.
They had some. They had a team that, to me,
should have been to way more Super Bowls.
So to me, and what was Ditka's record? That will be the
121 and 95. He won about 56% of his games. Remember, that's about half. A little more than half, but that's not great. That's not even good. Good is 60%. 65% is good.
You're in the mediocre of the record. So, you know what? And he traded the whole damn Saints staff for Ricky,
because he didn't want to do the draft, so he gave up his entire draft to get Ricky Williams.
And that went up in smoke.
You just had to say that, didn't you?
Yeah, in Colorado, that's a lot of pot going on around here. Not in here.
Not in here, but it's in Colorado, yes. But he coached for 14 seasons. He had, and a lot of people will even say that team really won because of Buddy Ryan's defense.
Well, I would say the team won because of defense. That's for damn sure.
But that Super Bowl, the offense put the screws to the Patriots.
I disagree. I think the defense did.
Well, yeah, the defense held them only 10 points. So, yeah, the defense did its job, but the offense did its job as well.
Yeah, the defense got the ball a lot for him.
That's true. Poor Grogan was just that poor.
Well, Tony Eason was the first. Tony Eason's stats are like 5 passes, 0 completions.
Yeah, but didn't Grogan get into that game?
Oh, he got in. And he didn't want to go, I can assure you.
I can assure you.
The backup, I hold the clipboard. You just drafted. Tony Eason came out of the draft after Elway, the year after Elway, I believe.
No, he was in the same draft
as Elway. Was he in the same draft?
Yeah, because he was picked. The Patriots, the head coach of the Patriots at the time,
Raymond Berry.
Yeah, he wanted Marino, but they did not. But he had no power in that office, so they basically said, "We're taking Tony Eason."
You know who else?
And Raymond Berry was so pissed because he goes, "I want Marino."
You know who else wanted Marino and was close to getting him? Colts. And somebody didn't want that. There's a lot of stupidity out there.
Well, and a lot of people thought the Steelers should have took him. The Steelers should have taken Dan Marino. He was a Pittsburgh kid. They should have taken him, but instead they took a defensive lineman that ended up, he might have been a really good defensive lineman, but unfortunately he got into the car wreck and was paralyzed from the waist down. So
I don't remember that, but
yeah, no, he was a real good. He could have been something special, but
wow. Okay, well, anyway,
he had the nickname Senior Sack.
I think I remember that guy.
Yeah, but I watched some of the highlights they showed of him. It's like he was chasing down. He was a defensive lineman, and he was chasing down running backs down the field and catching them. I mean, he was fast.
I do think I remember something like that. But you know what? Still, it doesn't. And Mike Ditka was a great player. And I know I'm going to catch a lot of crap for this, but I look at everything that with that team. And
they should have won more.
I think it was
way more.
I think he was mediocre.
Now he did build that team back up again. I mean, remember the Bears were bad for a long time, but there were some pieces in place by having that defense was there. Because remember, Buddy had built that defense, and a lot of those guys were already there when Ditka got there.
Buddy was already there.
Yeah, Buddy was already there.
I don't really like Buddy. Matter of fact, Buddy's a mediocre coach, but we didn't throw
But he was a good defensive coach, and that 46 defense, until people learned how to play against it, was innovative at the time.
And Buddy's not on the list, but you know what? As far as I'm concerned, the Eagles had a great team, and they never did anything with it.
They had a great team, and they underachieved too.
So Buddy's not on the list, but I just stuck him on there too.
Just stuck him in there. All right, the next one. I'm gonna let you say it. You're gonna let you say the next one.
Okay, well, okay.
Because this was your idea.
It is, and you know what? I'm a jerk. Sure.
It's like he put Ditka on this list, and now he's gonna put this guy.
John Gruden. Whoa. That was really unnecessary.
So much hate
Okay, you know
there are people that are clicking the dislike button, and I'll never get another view.
You know what? I want 100 dislikes. I want 100 or something on one of these things.
No, don't say that. I don't even have 100 likes on a video. Don't try to antagonize people that give us 100 dislikes.
Well, yeah, because that means 100 people watched it.
Yeah, but if you put a lot of dislikes, nobody will watch anymore.
Oh no, there are people that are going to watch because they're going to go, I want to know why this sucked.
If you don't dislike the video, don't hit the dislike button. Don't help him. He's just being weird. Although it will be interesting to see how many people watch this far into the video to see.
There's going to be people going disliked.
But we should talk about
John
We should
Gruden.
talk about John
John
Gruden.
Gruden, I'm sorry, but he is... I think he is mediocre. I really, honestly, in my heart, do.
All right, so let's give the record. 95 and 81. He won 54% of his games.
Mediocre.
Once again, not great.
Mediocre. Right in the area of mediocrity.
And I know what a lot of people are saying. Hey, he won that Super Bowl where he beat the Raiders. Okay, so we go with this whole thing that it's like, okay, so John Gruden built that team. And Callahan took that team to the Super Bowl that Gruden
To
built.
the promised land!
And got them there, but Gruden built that team. And then he made the point about the team that Gruden took to the Super Bowl.
Gruden took Tony Dungy's team. Tony Dungy built that team. Tony Dungy did a lot of cool stuff with that team. And I don't know what they were thinking of when they got rid of Tony Dungy, because I think the Buccaneers might have had more than one Super Bowl had they kept Tony Dungy, who's not mediocre.
No.
But
Tony
Gruden,
Dungy.
all Gruden did was take a team that lost a Super Bowl, that would be the Raiders, and then took a team that won the Super Bowl that was Tony Dungy's team. It was a good team that almost got there, and okay, fine, he got him there. But the fact that he won that Super Bowl, if you're stupid enough in Callahan to call the plays of the ex-coach, which I can't believe that's true. I mean, he really couldn't have gone two banana left,
Well,
Aubrey
but-
right, and
But you had to go with Rich Gannon's strengths the whole year. What does Rich Gannon do well? Well, that's what John Gruden knew. John Gruden knew what Gannon could and could not do. So that's where he schemed his. It's not the plays. I don't think Callahan was calling the same plays, but he knew what Gannon could and couldn't do. So he just played his defense based around. It's like, oh, I don't know exactly what he's going to call next, but I know he can't do this, so we don't have to play defense against it.
so basically I've had people say that they felt that game was not thrown, but just wrong. Of the fact that the way that Callahan did it and what Gruden knew. I think Gruden knew exactly what they were going to do, and I don't think Callahan was that great of a coach. But
Callahan was a terrible coach. He was a bad coach.
Terrible coach, but
Terrible.
So I'll give Callahan credit for taking a John Gruden team
To the Super Bowl.
But I'm not giving Gruden the credit.
Well, you know what? That means Callahan sucks, because Callahan couldn't win with Gruden's Super Bowl team, but Gruden could win with Tony Dungy's Super Bowl team. So
Yeah, but the record still says mediocre.
yeah, the record still says 95 and 81, 54% of your victories.
I think he's a
That's
mediocre
it.
announcer.
I don't know how good he's going to do with the Raiders this time
I
around.
do.
I really don't. They've already talked about they don't really think his moves are that good.
Pretty sure he's going to be mediocre. I got to
What do you predict right now? What would you predict for the Oakland Raiders for their season this year?
I predict a lot of excitement. And a lot of people thinking that this is the team that's going to go to the Super Bowl. But they're not. If we're lucky, Carl will stay healthy. Defense, you got Khalil Mack. The Broncos suck, so I'm not going to... I think we're going to be better than the Raiders. I think we will be better than the Raiders. What is that? What?
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that one because I don't know exactly how our quarterback is going to play yet.
Case
So,
Keenum, future Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Whoa.
That's why Tony keeps giving me crap about how Bronco fans talk.
Okay, well, fine, but you know what? The last time...
You didn't make a prediction. What do you think the Raiders' record's going to be this year
8-8.
John? Okay, there we go.
And I'll
You're gonna
say
go
this
with
to
the
all you
mediocre
people
follow.
out there who are Raider lovers. I get it. But the last time, I'll said it before, I'll say it again. The last time they won a Super Bowl, it was on a 13-inch black and white TV that you had to watch it, okay? That's how long ago it was.
Was that Tom Flores?
It's Tom Flores. Here's a guy you didn't hear
I
of,
think-
Jim Plunkett.
It's like, Tom Flores, I think, was an underrated coach.
He took two of John Madden's teams and won Super Bowls.
Everybody's taking everybody else's team.
Well, no, John Madden in 77 or 8 won a Super Bowl against the Vikings. If he'd have just got on the damn plane and flew with the team, he probably could have won a couple more games. But Tom Flores came in and won two Super Bowls. Those were kind of John Madden could have won 3, but he
Instead, Tom Flores has more Super Bowl
and
wins
John,
than
that was the
Madden.
bus driving over you.
Yeah. Okay, so our last one. Our last
mediocre.
Last mediocre. Because we're mediocre. So believe me, we're not saying that we're better than these people. We're mediocre like these people.
I'm saying I could coach as good as some of these guys could.
Yeah, see, we're thinking we could coach just as good, maybe.
Off
maybe.
tackle, up the middle.
It's like, here, I'm going to call a play I saw in a video game. You guys just do it. NFL blitz, you're going to have to drop the elbow at the end.
I'll be honest with you, I probably would do, my playbook would be on the Madden. I would just be...
My playbook would be Tecmo Bowl. It's 8 plays.
It'd be like this, Brady. Did you see how I did that? Brady, did you see that?
I'd be going down and C. That'll make you jump over the pile.
You see me getting a thumb cramp.
It's like, you didn't do what I told you to do. I told you to do up and right. But our last coach, and he's got a lot of wins.
Yeah, we kind of
He's got a lot of wins, but what makes him mediocre is his terrible playoff record. Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Ball. I'm sorry. I liked Schottenheimer. I do. And his record tells you at 200 wins, 126 losses, and 1 tie, he won 61%. That's a lot of wins.
Oh, that puts him in the great. You just said that puts him in the great.
No, but I said unless your playoff record is bad. His playoff record is 5-13. 5 wins, 13 losses. Those teams could get to playoffs, but he couldn't win in the playoffs.
14-2 with the Chargers and lost in the first round. Yeah.
People thought that team. People were calling that team a Super Bowl contender, and they lost in the first round.
They got to the playoffs.
Now I get it. But if you look, 4 of his playoff wins were with Cleveland, because he had to get to the AFC title games.
Oh yeah.
So.
The gleam, boys, follow the gleam.
No. He always goes, "There's a gleam, men. There's a gleam."
Today we're doing ladders, one rung at a time. I mean,
but it's like, I don't know. But Marty, if it wasn't for this terrible playoff record, I would call him a great coach. But the problem is 5-13 in the playoffs. That's bad.
Yeah.
Now, if you get the first round bye, then you play your first round. If you win your second round game, so it's possible. He could have only won 2 playoff games with Cleveland.
He did go to 2 AFC Championship games
with Cleveland, but he lost them both. Of course, the drive and the fumble.
Did he go to 3?
No.
I think he.
You think?
I think Cleveland went to 3 because I think every Super Bowl that we lost.
Do you think they lost? Do you think Buffalo took them out the year after us?
No. Well,
who was the team that went to the? Who was the team that represented the AFC after our? What was it, 87 or 88 Super Bowl? Who was the team that represented us after that?
Was Cincinnati.
So it was the Bengals. Okay, so then.
So I think what happened is we went against the Giants, we went against the Redskins, the Bengals went against the wonderful 49ers, and we went against the 49ers, and I'm not too altogether sure. We had 3 AFC Championship games against the Browns. God, I wish I knew what I was talking about. That'd be so cool. Because I think I'm right. Somebody out there, Google it.
But it's like, but those are the things. It's like his playoff records were abysmal. Look at all those wins. 200 coaching victories in the regular season.
I think 3.
He only has 5 playoff wins.
I think 3 of his 5 are with the Browns.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is terrible.
It's terrible.
It's like the whole point is to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And when your teams are good in the regular season and you're just getting eliminated in the playoffs and you don't even get to Super Bowls. Remember, Marty didn't coach in a Super Bowl. He never got to coach in a Super Bowl. With Kansas City, with San Diego, with Cleveland, and he even coached the Redskins for a year. 21 seasons in the NFL, 200 regular season victories.
I want to throw another one on there. A couple more. We don't even have to talk about it. I'm going to throw a couple more. Wayne Fontes, I think he was mediocre.
I told you Wayne Fontes. You said he coached for like 10 years or something like that. You wanted to disagree with me.
I said he was mediocre.
Wayne Fontes is definitely mediocre.
I'm not too sure.
Oh, wait, no. I called him bad.
You did?
You called him mediocre. Okay.
Mediocre. Not too altogether. Jerry Burns might have been mediocre.
Jerry Glanville?
Jerry Glanville was another one. He's mediocre.
Jerry Glanville was mediocre. I'll give you that. We don't have any stats to back this up. He might have been bad.
I almost think Fisher might not be mediocre. I think he might suck.
Well, but he does have more. He did win more than half of his games. And in a 22, like I said, in my opinion, none of these coaches are bad. They're just not great. They're just there. They're mediocre.
No Tom Landry's. No
that's like,
Vince Lombardi's. No.
Well, I don't know.
Shanahan's.
I don't know if because remember Shanahan's had some bad years with the Raiders. But it's like like Bill Walsh, Bill Parcells.
There's a pattern there. Bill, guy's named Bill.
Don't you dare say the next one.
Oh, Bill Belichick. I didn't even think about that. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Some of the greatest names in coaching history are named Bill.
I hate you so much.
Wow. You're right. Billy Martin. It was baseball, but still. Not great. But he could drink a lot. He was a good drinker. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Name a great Sean head coach. That's what I want you to do right now.
There hasn't been really
There hasn't been a great Randy head coach at any point, anywhere. No
yeah, but there was a good NFL receiver named Elvis Peacock. That's your last name.
But it's like, those are the mediocre head coaches. And then, of course, we named off some great ones. And then the greatest mediocre head coach of all time in Bill Belichick. But... I can't really say that. I just despise him so much.
Okay, watch. I can do this. John Gruden is a mediocre coach. See? Straight face, everything. Totally mean it. You don't mean it. It's not in your heart. About what? It's not in your heart.
About what? About
Bill Belichick.
Oh.
Bill Belichick, it's not in your heart that he's terrible.
I didn't say he was terrible.
It's not in your heart that he's mediocre. Not like Joe Montana. Say Joe Montana's mediocre quarterback.
Joe Montana is the greatest mediocre quarterback of all time.
No.
There is no better mediocre quarterback than Joe Montana. John Montana.
John Montana.
John Montana.
John Montoya. Anyway, but I know in your heart of hearts that you think Bill Belichick is wonderful. Well, we're going to do another show another day. Thank you for listening. And remember,
to all the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.